What's up, YouTube? Wow, it's been a minute since I have posted anything on this particular platform. I have taken a very long and extended break, so let me just, cut right to it. Thank you guys for following me over the years. Those who have kept up with me on YouTube, consider my content has been inconsistent, especially in the last year or so. But this update in particular is around my book and also the fact that I have recovered from a broken bone in my ankle, my right ankle, which happened while I was working at AAA, changing a flat tire for a AAA member. And it's just been a blessing in disguise in its own weird way. My book, the book on healthy living, 11 fundamental ways to create a balanced and fulfilling life, was really on hold because I was just working so much, and then I was working a part-time job on my day off, so I only had one day to myself, where I had almost no energy or time for anything else. So the break of the tibia bone, I believe I'm saying that correctly, and my right ankle is really a blessing in disguise, truthfully, because it allowed me, and I probably should have been resting early on, but early on after the break happened, I was banging on my computer, making edits to the book and to the manuscript so that I could get it in and get this thing complete. Because it's been like almost 4 years of this process for a book program that if you do it as designed, you can have your book done in 30 days. So, okay, you take 30 days and then multiply that by whatever that number or numbers are to give you 4 years. This is 2023. I think I started on this book in 2019, right before, might have been 2018, I think. And that's a whole story in and of itself. So, long story somewhat shorter, when you're in a rat race, like most of us are, chasing a dollar, doing what you can to take care of yourself, keep a roof overhead, pay bills, keep gas in your car, keep your car running, yada, yada, yada. It just, the list, the list is what it is. It can be a real challenge to have the time and the energy to invest in yourself. And that really is what showed up for me, to where I just had no time or energy a lot of times to put into my book. And a lot of times they say that's because some of the motivational guys or successful entrepreneurs will say that's because you're not motivated or you're lazy. And I've shared some of those quotes on my Instagram page and even on my Facebook page. So I get it. You can check me out on Instagram at the Uneducated Food Scientist, and the same title for my Facebook business page. So I've shared a lot of that kind of content about, being motivated and pushing yourself and being relentless, and it's all valuable. And at the same time, it still boils down to one thing. If we are to be able to enjoy the fruits of our labor, we got to sleep first and foremost. And then we got to minimize our stress levels. Those are two fundamental components that I have been a miserable failure at over these last 4+ years, probably more like 10 or 12. I went to see a chiropractor I've been following for some years last August in Tijuana, where the prices are a lot cheaper. And I went to a biological dentist and all that. But when he came back with my x-rays, he said, man, you know, fortunately, you got good genes. But he's like, you've been in a sympathetic dominant state for over a decade, and it's taken a toll, And so from that standpoint of not being motivated and push yourself a little harder to go for your dream when you're not working for somebody else, that's easier said than done, because this society is so unnatural anyway. That's a part of why I wrote the book in the first place, was to hopefully shed some light on what's possible and how we can create a life that actually works, where we actually have the energy to be with our partner sexually and to satisfy her as a man and not be a 2-minute man. I mean, just being real about it. If you're so exhausted from adrenal fatigue and your kidneys are and your liver is toxic because of all of the stored toxins that you're not properly filtering out of the body, if you're not sleeping well, you're not going to be able to get it up and stay able to satisfy your partner to where she's more than satisfied. That's one aspect, and that's important to us as men. And the other part is realizing that if we are to get what we need to get for ourselves so we can build our own brand, sometimes we have to take time away. Hopefully, you don't have to break a bone to accomplish that. But the point is, somehow, some way, when you know you have a purpose in life and you're not fulfilling your purpose, it is vital to find some avenue that's going to help you to get to fulfilling your purpose and making your difference in the world before you check out and leave this third dimensional realm. And too many of us are letting the wage that we work for dominate our life. Our work is, for so many of us, our work has become our life to where we don't even have a relationship. And if we have a relationship, we barely see the person that we're in a relationship with because we're working all the time. And if it's not that, then we have no energy to really be with our was husband or wife or spouse or partner or helpmeet or whatever, however you phrase it nowadays, or even our children, because we're exhausted when we get home from all of the energy and effort that we've given to the man and the system, and it just doesn't work. I've questioned that my whole life. I'm like, why? For one, who came up with the 8-hour workday in the first place? And supposedly it was Henry Ford. But my point is, it's an unnatural life. And if you don't have the energy and then you're pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion, there's another phrase that goes around when you're talking about adrenal fatigue. It's called, or when you are in the sympathetic dominant state, fight or flight, like you're out in nature trying to run from a tiger or a lion. That's not normal. And if you are constantly in a state of fight or flight, like so many of us are, even if you know the job is just a job and you have a dream for something better for your life, when you're so exhausted because you've been in that sympathetic dominant state for so long, you have no energy for anything else when you get home. Barely have energy to go in the kitchen to cook a meal for yourself that's going to be good and nutritious for you and save you some money. And so the system is set up to just fuck us. Excuse my language, but that's just how it's set up. When our wage, how we earn a living, is more dominant than our work, our purpose in life, that's a fundamental problem. And unfortunately, it's just so prevalent nowadays to where, with the world still being completely upside down, with all this craziness going on, and with these politricksters and the people that they work for, it's a shit show. So whatever you can do to find peace and find your center, do that. And do it holistically as much as possible, because that's what this whole channel is about. Whether it's this channel, my Instagram channel, my Facebook, and my podcast, it's all about just being fully self-expressed, getting back to the basics, and living a good life, a good existence. And it starts with taking care of our health and well-being, so we actually have the energy and the mental capacity, the mental focus to be able to invest our time, effort, attention, and energy in the people that we love and care about, and having those shared experiences and those memories that produce those good endorphins, that oxytocin, that serotonin, the tryptophan. I don't know if I want to say tryptophan, but it's those 4 basic emotions that are fundamental to helping us to be healthy and to heal. Oxytocin and serotonin are 2 of them. And when we're getting enough of those good endorphins, it works miracles in our brain and our body to keep us healthy, vibrant, and alive. And there's just so much of a negative narrative out in the world to where, if we're not careful, we get caught up in that, in addition to slaving away on a job that, for unfortunately a lot of us, we end up hating. That doesn't help our immune system either. Stress and fear weakens the immune system. So all I can say is, the break was a blessing. AAA is a blessing. Almost every other job I've had, I've hated, with the exception of the jobs I've had at Ace Hardware out here, and Ace Hardware I worked at back in Atlanta. Those are 2 of the 3 jobs. Actually, Expo Design Center. I actually loved my time at Expo Design Center. That was a great experience too, all things considered. It didn't start out that way. I was in a negative headspace about a lot of things in my life. and I realized it wasn't helping me, and then I shifted it. And when I shifted it, everything around me shifted, excuse me. And for that matter, so did Home Depot. The first year was terrible, first year and a half, and then I shifted my way of being, and everything in my reality shifted, even though it felt like I was being set up to fail when I was there, because I changed and I didn't let the things around me affect me and take me out. Everything changed. I became a Home Depot all-star for providing exceptional customer service. And personally, I think I should have gotten it 2 years in a row. But anyway, it was a pretty amazing experience to be rewarded and acknowledged in that way by my managers and my department supervisors and even my coworkers while I was there. It's something that I've had not had much of in my life. So I've had some jobs that were rewarding. Most of them I hated because I always knew there was something more that I was put here for, and I wasn't fulfilling that. I wasn't anywhere close to it. And so if you're in that space, don't, refuse to settle, refuse to give up, keep going, and keep finding a way to tap into your power, into your greatness. Yeah, I've been blessed with great friends, continuing to cultivate my relationship with God. Every moment is a miracle. Today, I had some serious highs and lows. I really felt a little deflated about having to go back to work because I wanted to close this one deal that was going to allow me to get a business coach so I could get into some of the real estate that I want to get into to where I won't have to work a job, because I know there are people making the kind of money that I make in 2 months legitimately doing real estate, or they could be even trading stock options or futures. I mean, which is a lot more risky and maybe more volatile, but still, I know it's out there. And I know these people are making their money legitimately, and they don't have to punch a clock for somebody else. And that's not entirely a bad thing, because you have, like I said, you have a lot of companies that really take care of their people. AAA is one of those places. They take great care of their people, you know. And were it not for AAA, I wouldn't still be in California. I would not still be here, period. You know. So all I'm saying is the blessing is realizing just how fortunate I am, and also knowing that the book is that much closer to being finished. I have some pre-sales and some of my marketing stuff that I have to get in place, and then I'll make my final payment to the publisher for the editing and formatting. I have to make a minor change to my book cover, and I think it's going to be on the front of this video as the still shot. So it's going to change even from what you see that was on the still shot here. Excuse me. But above all else, I just say thanks to God, thanks to all of the amazing people that have contributed so generously to my life. And I'm excited to have the book out into the world here pretty soon. And I'll probably do another video when the book is done, and I'll be doing more regular um, videos here on YouTube, so you guys know when to set your clock and day and time by when you can find me on YouTube. That's my word that I'm giving to you, and that way you'll be able to keep track of where I am, and then we can have a conversation if you have a podcast you want me to speak on, or um, you know something along those lines, and I'll be more than willing to come onto your podcast and just share what I'm up to and what my book is about, and and just be a contribution. That's really what I'm committed to doing, is being a contribution to humanity, having their best life, myself and everybody else out there. We can have it, and we can have it in the here and now. And the book on healthy living is my contribution to that conversation, and my life's work in many ways. So it's a culmination of a lot of years of pain and suffering, and asking a lot of questions about how can things be better and why aren't they better. And the book is me sharing a lot of the things that I've learned over the years that have contributed to that. So, like I said, I'm almost 100%. I'm pretty close to that. The X-rays look really good. When I saw them the last time, basically there's another a piece of bone that's like merged onto the area where the break was. That's seized it together, to where it's stronger than ever. Fucking A. And I'll be able to get back to my bowling and playing basketball and doing everything else that I do as a natural athlete, and just getting out and experiencing life and having fun whenever I get the opportunity to. And so I'm just grateful that I can walk again. And, what can I say? I've been moved to tears at times. So all I can say is the book is close to being complete. And I'll definitely, like I said, be checking back in and posting regular content here on my YouTube channel. So thank you all so much for your generosity. And I'll keep you posted as things are progressing. And take care of your health, love yourself, respect yourself, get your rest, minimize your stress levels, tell the people in your life that you love them, hug the people in your life. If you got children, spend time with them, love them, listen to them, talk to them, speak to their greatness. Same thing with your spouse. Speak life into them. Strangers out in the world, speak life into them, whether they're wearing a mask or not. People need love. We're social creatures. Spread love wherever you go. It's the ultimate game changer. So if you like my content, feel free to post a comment below and hit that like button and subscribe. And like I said, I'll be posting more consistent and regular content going forward. So thank you so much. Love you guys. Have an amazing and prosperous week. Peace.